thank you so much for joining me. A lot to get to. Really appreciate your time. On this latest tweet, though, real quick, I want to just get your reaction. When Donald Trump says he's going to sit down to meet with the NRA to talk about keeping people who are on terror watch lists from buying guns, do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's very smart. I'm a pretty hawkish guy when it comes to defending the nation. If gun control could protect a nation from radical Islamic attack, there would be no Paris, there'd be no Brussels. So this idea that gun control will make it safe, I don't buy it. But let's look at the issue of no-fly list and terrorist watch list. I really do believe most Americans feel that if you can't get on a plane because you're such a risk, you probably shouldn't have a gun. I think Mr. Trump is smart to see if we can sit down and find a way forward that will allow people to be denied a gun, but also the chance to say the government got it wrong when it came to me being a terrorist. I think that is the sweet spot. I would encourage Mr. Trump to stay on this path. I talked to Dianne Feinstein today. I think there's a way that we can protect the Second Amendment rights of people who've been wrongfully accused of being a terrorist, and at the same time make sure that people we don't want to have guns, that they don't get them at least through the legal process.
That's fascinating. And Dianne Feinstein, as you mentioned, she's pushing legislation, has been. I'll be very interested to see how those conversations go. An important note,
time will
though,
tell.
we love that line, Senator. An important note as we move on, though, the FBI director said, though, that this man, this killer, he was taken off the watch list in March 2014, so he wasn't even on a watch list. So this legislation that you're talking about that could be discussed would not necessarily have helped in this regard.
Well,
but that's just a point. That's not a hit on you. That's just a point of clarification for everybody.
We actually talked about that. If you've been under investigation by the FBI for suspected terrorism ties for the last 5 years, that might be something you could put into legislation. I don't know where this thing will wind up, but consider me, one, I own an AR-15. The idea that you're going to ban assault weapons in America to keep us safe from radical Islam is ridiculous given the way they want to kill us. They use bombs, they use planes, they use guns, they use knives. But we'll have a reasonable discussion about the terrorist watch list and the no-fly list. But the real reason we're getting attacked and the real reason radical Islam is running wild is that President Obama has allowed the capability to defend this nation to deteriorate to the FBI director. You're going to have less agents in 2017 than you did in 2013. The budget problems for the FBI are enormous. And why was this case file closed? What do you have to do to stay on the terrorist watch list? What are the criteria to close a file? To me, I want to know the answer to that question.
Important questions. Senator, you don't mince words with regard to anything, especially Donald Trump. What's your reaction to how Donald Trump responded, his speech and subsequent comments following the massacre in Orlando?
Missed an opportunity to reset the race. This race will tighten up. Hillary Clinton's call for gun control proves to me she has no idea that the systems to protect us have deteriorated on Obama's watch and need to be replenished. We need more money for the FBI, more agents, more capability in the Department of Defense. When we detain somebody, we need to interrogate them, not read them their Miranda rights. But Mr. Trump went down the wrong path about banning all Muslims. Again, that won't work. We need partners in the faith. This man was born in Queens, New York, so it wasn't an immigration problem. This is not a gun control problem. It's not an immigration problem. This is about systems to protect us from radical Islam, to keep the war over there. And when Mr. Trump suggests that the president has some ulterior motives, that's way over the top. It is so inappropriate and it doesn't help. So Mr. Trump may get back on track if he'll talk about a way to deal with the gun issue responsibly, and if he could talk about rebuilding capabilities that have been lost under Obama's watch.
Senator, though, what you've heard from Donald Trump since this horrific attack, does it make you more or less comfortable having him as commander-in-chief?
I just think it was a missed opportunity. I've been very clear about my problems with Mr. Trump and Secretary Clinton. I know CNN likes to talk about Trump, but let me tell you, what is Clinton going to do different than Obama? ISIL is a direct result of poor policy choices by President Obama. We're turning the war into a crime.
The reason I'm asking, though, Senator, is there is a list of Republicans who came out to condemn the way Donald Trump reacted, from Paul Ryan to Reed Ribble, I mean, on down.
Right. They should
Republicans
have.
Condemning, and you are included in that.
Yeah.
When you're faced with a terror attack and you're a presidential candidate, it can be a clarifying moment in what your vision is and how you respond in times of national
Absolutely.
tragedy.
I think Trump responded poorly.
When he responded poorly.
I think Clinton responded poorly. I think President Obama. I think Obama's speech yesterday made me want to throw up. It was a lecture about radical Islam. I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan 37 times. I've used the term radical Islam over and over because that's what we're fighting. The people in the region like me and trust me. They know that I want to be a good partner. I want to partner with people in the faith to destroy radical Islam. Fellow Muslims are our best allies, so that's when Trump declares war on the faith. He has no idea what he's doing. When President Obama says we can't say the obvious, well, then, you know, he has no idea what he's doing. So I'm really disappointed in all three. I wish we had a political mulligan when it came to picking a president. We don't.
Well, Senator, you don't. President Obama called the rhetoric that Donald Trump's rhetoric after this attack, he called it dangerous. Do you think Donald Trump's rhetoric is dangerous?
Yeah, parts of it are. I think it's very dangerous to declare war on the entire faith. It makes it hard to partner people within the faith.
Here's the biggest thing, though, Senator, you've had conversations with.
Please.
You've had. I know, but you've had no. This is just a serious question. You've had a phone call with him. You were on last time, and when we talked, you had a phone call with him, and you said that he asked good questions on foreign policy things. He asked you. You know, he was leaning to you to ask questions regarding foreign policy. It doesn't seem like his foreign policy views have changed since that conversation. Do you believe that they have?
I don't see any evidence of it. I think to suggest after Orlando that the solution to the Orlando terrorist attack is to ban all Muslims makes no sense to me, because you need partners in the faith, and this man was an American citizen born in Queens. When Secretary Clinton calls, we need more gun control, no. You know what we need? We need a policy to follow people who are tied to radical Islam and not close the file. And when President Obama says, the reason I don't say radical Islam, it helps the enemy, that's garbage. At the end of the day, we need a strategy of more capability in the hands of the FBI and the Department of Defense to keep the war over there. We need a surveillance program that's constitutional, that meets the needs of the time. We need to be at war, not fighting a crime, and our ability to defend this nation is deteriorated. If I were Trump, I would make a list of things that have happened on Obama's watch that make us less safe, missed opportunities, rather than talk about banning all Muslims, which makes absolutely no sense to me.
There's no secret that you disagree with President Obama's tact against ISIS. No secret that you also disagree with Hillary Clinton's response in pushing more gun control in response to this attack. When it comes to Donald Trump, do you think what you've heard from him, does it make you more or less comfortable, or nothing, with the possibility of having him as your commander-in-chief?
It makes me. I think the way he's handled this has made me more unnerved. I'm more unnerved, by the way, after Orlando. I'm unnerved to hear that Donald Trump talks about a Muslim ban as a way to solve the problem when he clearly doesn't understand how to win this war. I don't think President Obama understands how to win this war, and apparently Secretary Clinton doesn't either, in my view. But back to the guy in the Republican Party, I'm trying to be as honest with you as I know how. I think his temperament, his judgment, his policy choices are not going to make us safe. I think it's makes it worse. I don't see Hillary Clinton suggesting anything new. The reason ISIL is on the rampage, and the reason they came about anyway, was because of poor policy choices by President Obama. We've deteriorated our ability to defend ourselves. We've turned the war into a crime. And I think Mr. Trump would serve himself well if he could sit down with the NRA and other people to find a way to deal with the no-fly list, the terrorist watch list, and come up with a compromise on the gun issue. That would show that he's capable of working with other people, that he does see a problem. So I applaud him for suggesting that we can find a solution here. That would be encouraging if he would do that.
Senator, it's always wonderful to have your take. We'll see if Donald Trump reaches out to you again to get your guidance and advice on how to address these huge foreign policy concerns.
A tweet in the making as we talk.
One tweet away from friendship or enemies. We will see. Senator, thank you so much.